Oh, yeah, running a little bit late, but nevertheless, I am here. It is good to be in the house this morning. Long day yesterday, a lot of recording last night, which is good though. A lot of good streaming, got a lot of guests, a lot of friends. Tough day for our family as we laid our loved one to the final home for the shell, not the not the soul, but the shell. My beloved aunt, Miss Madeleine. We miss her, and it was a tough day, long day, but we move on. Thank you, Killer Carl, for stopping by. Yeah, I needed some kick me music for sure this morning. I was dragging to. I didn't sleep good. I just I don't know. With everything that happened, brain not really working or working too much or whatever you want to say. But we're here, and we are happy to be here. Remember Thursdays. Rob is not here. It's just Dave in the AM, aka as dubbed by James from the Empty Pocket, or excuse me, from Angry Conservative. I was talking to James yesterday in the stream. This is from Angry Conservative called the Cornbread Man. Cornbread Man. I'll be on with him um, Saturday morning live at 11 a.m. Rumble only premium for his interview series. But James, Empty Pockets Podcast, has invited us up Sunday evening. I will be just a little bit after the start time as I'll be coming in from church. But thanks so much for him for being in the stream yesterday. We were hoping to see him last night. We didn't see him last night. I was going to bring him up, but we'll hook up with him. Never fear. We will hook up with our friend and enjoy. Appreciate those of you that are coming in late last night, and we did it on our nightly. We have a new nightly show, kind of a news show, 1 hour. It could be extended if needed, but we have so much news that the Saturday and Sunday night shows really would not allow us to cover all that we wanted to cover, and breaking news. And so last night, while we were in Update Views, we had talked about it that morning. Even our MAGA Minute that was airing today is about it, but the deal was signed. The mineral deal was signed. The president and Zelensky. So that will be something will be talked about in the days to come. What does that look like? What does it all mean? Short term, long term, and is this a big win for the president? We seemed to be floundering in the region a little bit. He was ready to walk away. He was ready to say, "You can have it. It's on you." Put a lot of pressure on him. Remember the face-to-face, and I said last night the picture, the famous picture of them face-to-face at Vatican City. That picture was going to go down in history. Now the question is that picture going to be a turning point in things when we look at it? When it's looked at 100 years from now, is that the turning point? Is that when things started going right, or is that a false hope? There's a lot of moving parts. It's really on different tracks could go for each one. Still don't have the peace agreement. Still don't have a ceasefire. Still going to be involved here in some way, although I think it's good economically, and it will be a way. It is a reconstruction, which is different than anything in history that I can remember. I may be wrong. It's a reconstruction bill or deal, however you want to say it, deal, I guess, that was signed that will help put back in operation for what's left of Ukraine to build infrastructure and, well, other things. That's the nice way of saying it, is the reconstructive deal that they can reconstruct some of their buildings and infrastructure, but also, I guess, also to pay for weapons and things that they need to buy, pay Zelensky's salary, is, we'll save some minerals, so we got to get our pension plans all taken care of. I'm not dogging the president on that. I'm just saying that's what that will be for them. That's absolutely what that will be for them. So we'll see. But in the short run, it seems to be a great thing. You can always look at things from ground level, just above the tree level, and then as you move up, and you kind of get a bigger picture of what's going on. So right now, that is right down the ground level. Now they're trying to get a peace deal. They know they're going to have to cede some land. The Russians are not going to just, roll up ship and get out of the country. They're going to hold on to those major areas that they have taken control of. Still no word about the kids. No word about the children that were stolen from Ukraine and taken into Russia. Not one word has been spoken about those kids in any of this. We here at the Southern Fried will not forget that. There's only been about 400 that have been recovered out of a number that nobody really knows how many it is. They say at least 20,000, but the potential is for far greater. After all, parents may even be dead. Who knows? Who knows? There was a story about I think somewhat of a freelance reporter, a young lady who was covering stories, and they found her dead, tortured. This is a rough area. This is a war is hell. I mean, I was not a big fan of General Sherman from the American War Between the States, but when he said that, it's truth. He created a lot of the hell. You ought to know. But war is hell, and there's no really good parts of it other than if you. And the idea is to win. I mean, if you're going to go to war because you were forced to or you decided to, the idea is to win. We kind of forgot that in America. They began to think it was war to just come to an agreement. A war is you beat the living daylights out of your enemy, opponent. And yes, I'm sorry, all you people that apologize and want to continue to beat down America and everything. This is the way it is. When you win an area, you plant your flag, and that's what it is. Ukraine messed around and found out. They kept messing with Russia. I'm not a Russia fan, leadership especially. But when you do that, and they come in and they take whatever it is they take, they plant their flag. That's what happens. You lose that. You have lost. And liberals can cry, it's not fair, it's not this, it's not that. That's the way warfare is, or the way it used to be. That's the way it's always been. When you go into the Bible and you look at all the battles in the Old Testament, when it wasn't complete victory, God punished his own. I mean, he didn't want any opposition for them going forward because he knew that would be bad. It would spoil them. And so I'm not trying to make an analogy here across the way of total annihilation or nothing. I'm just saying when you take an area, you're taking it. It's not like, oh, okay, here we'll hand it back. No, that don't happen unless we're America. We've done that. We laid down lives for things, and I have my good Bible teaching friend from Marietta, Georgia. He was I would mess up and I would say ex-Marine. No, once a Marine, always a Marine. And he would say, I have an opinion about that. Well, you want me to a Marine that doesn't have an opinion. Amen. I love it. And he would say anywhere that American blood has been spilled for to help others or whatever, he said that is now American soil. When this blood of our dead soldiers is spilled into the ground, we're putting the American flag up, and that's now American soil. That's ours. And he said, so our reach should be around the world because we've lost sons and daughters around the world in vast amounts on foreign soils to save their country for them. He said, no, we should be planting the American flag. That's ours. That was his view. Amen. If you want our help, just realize we're going to be flying our flag because you're going to be destroyed anyway. So you can live here. This is now American soil. We're flying the flag. It's going up the flagpole. He was very serious about that. He wasn't joking. Marines don't tend to joke too much, right? And so we'll see. In this, people are, well, Russia, peace. Russia's still in their land. Well, okay, they're not giving it up. They're not going to turn around and just load up and say, hey, thank you for the 3-year weekend at Bernie's. We're out. No, they're taking it. It's ours. And there's not going to be any changing of that. And Zelensky found out he is not the big boy on the block. He found out he is not going to be the conquering hero. He found out that he's being found out for what he is, exactly what he is. And the minerals deal, honestly, is saving his butt. Because this dude is on a fast track out of there. He's already become a dictator over there to his own people. He's already pushed off elections. He's already losing the war. He's been losing the war. Congrats to the hard-fighting Ukrainian soldiers who got to be wondering what they're dying for anymore in the trenches of that war, but have fought the Russians like there is no tomorrow. And for them, there wasn't. And they have done very well for themselves in the field of battle. The Russians have suffered greatly. The numbers are appalling on their side of how many they've lost. The Ukrainians didn't have as much to give up, so it hurts them more. But the Russian people can count the cost every day as the body bags are unloaded at the airport in Moscow from the front and distributed to towns and cities throughout the country of their dead loved ones. They say it's the most tragic scene. It reminds me of that scene in Gone with the Wind, where there's dead and wounded and dying, and they're reading off all the names of the people who have died. It's tragic. The loss of life is tragic if that's your family. And the president is right that this war must stop. The bloodshed must stop. But I don't know what this sets us up for. Um, so we'll see. Um, well, I don't know, Spartan. Interesting thoughts this morning. I suspect that Zelensky and Putin could be on the same team. Wonder how much land BlackRock has purchased on the cheap in Ukraine. Well, there's going to be a lot of land nobody's going to be able to live on for a heck of a long time. First of all, there's nothing there. It's absolutely, utterly destroyed land. Secondly, they have mined the crap out of it. Both sides have. There's mines everywhere. I mean, it's even for the Russians, either army to try to advance. That's why it's become such a stalemate. Not only the fierce hand-to-hand fighting and just fighting over bits and pieces of land, is that you can't go far or you're going to get blown up anyway, because it's really slowed things down. Most of the fighting that we hear about is now in the Russian territory, where they've just about pushed Ukraine back out as they dove into that Kursk region to do try to draw them away from the front lines elsewhere, where they were losing background all the time. They just mined the heck out of it. But yeah, there's some things afoot here. Supposedly in the peace deal, the nuclear reactor, the largest in the region, is supposed to be managed, they said, by the Americans. What? What the heck is that? But it would remain in Ukrainian hands, but provide power both ways. Because they're going to need power in South Ukraine. Where is that? Or what is that now? Russia West? I don't know what they're going to call that region. The Donbass? Are they going to keep that name? That's Russian territory now. You are absolutely right, sir. And once, like I said, it takes a long time. In fact, in many places in Europe, I know it's this way in England. It's kind of like here. We have the call, what is it? Help me, folks. The 411, 311, whatever it is, before you dig for water lines, power, buried stuff. Well, you got to call a team out. If you're going to build a house or you're going to cut into the ground and do something, you got to call these folks in. They come out and do some ground penetrating radar and just look, because they find unexploded bombs all the time in those cities throughout England, different places, still to this day. And there have been instances where explosions have occurred with people who try to do that and not call them in. I'm sure there's a cost. They tried to go the shortcut and secretly do it, end up blowing themselves up. That's happened. And that's American bombs. I mean, we dropped plane loads on Dresden and other places across, there and helping of course, the Nazis, and then the unexploded, even their own English ones. And so from Germany to wherever, I mean, that whole region is just mine. And that's something that, remember way back, that Princess Diana was kind of involved with, kind of a charity thing, and find these ordinances and stuff like that. But there are teams that do that for decades. And Tarman says Putin didn't want the U.S. to have anything to do with Ukraine, keeping Russia from starting. And like I said, we were at, which I always thought it was a feint anyway. I didn't think we were walking away. I just felt like he was saying that, and then magically a deal gets done within 2 days that they had already sort of agreed on from back in February. But yeah, we're still neck deep in it. But this way, we'll be, setting up economic infrastructure for us, for the sale of, for buying minerals and for them also to pay back debt, billions of dollars. So it'll be a combination of. So he still gets weapons or money for weapons. He pays back some debt that he claims he doesn't owe, and we get some money back. But this thing is far from done, and where does it go now? He's Putin, being he, has demanded a lot of stuff from Ukraine. He wants to demilitarize Ukraine. I don't see that happening, but it could be like a Japan kind of thing, where for a long time they can only go above to a certain point. I mean, let's face it, they've never had an air force. Oh, by the way, do we get our F-15s back? Does everybody get their planes back? I mean, we got to be close to some kind of an agreement. That Biden was and others were helping train Ukrainian pilots in different places around the world, and they were gonna gift them some lower grade F-15s, F-16s, whatever, so that they could have a fighting chance in the air. Which that was probably not going to happen anyway. It takes a long time to build an air force. What happens to those planes? Because you've got to believe that Russia says, "Oh, we're at the end of the war. We're not going to fight anymore." But by gosh, we don't want to see them put planes up in the air. I mean, Russia lost a lot of planes, helicopters, from surface to air missiles, different types of things that they use to knock those out of the air. So we'll see. Spartan says Russia, UK, and USA gave Ukraine guarantees of peace in exchange for them giving up nukes. First took a move on their part. Yeah, that's true. That's true, because when they broke apart, what happened to the nuclear weapons. But yeah, and America is up above their heads in this. It's dirty because Biden made it dirty. There was no need for any of President Trump is right when he says that. There was no need for any of this to happen. No need whatsoever. It's just dirty. It's all corruption and fraud. We will have a lot of civilians there to supervise the mineral extraction. Well, yeah, there will be people on the ground. They're setting up economic corporations will be set up, and so we're going to have, some kind of safety and security for the people as they're extracting these minerals. I mean, and yes, Ukraine still has shiploading capability at Odessa. They never lost that, which is amazing to me. I have to say, and all the things that I find truly amazing is that they didn't lose their ability across all of the coastline, because they lost a lot of it. And give the Ukrainians, which I say give them credit. Let's face it, all that technology where they were sending drones and stuff down there to those ships and taking them out, and other things. Let's face it, U.S. intelligence, others in the region's intelligence, they didn't have that capability. And yes, Elon and Starlink. We were talking about Starlink last night. Starlink was a big part of Ukraine's ability to hit the enemy at the right moments. Absolutely. And also jamming capabilities that were done against the Russians to hinder their drones and stuff as they came in. This has been one of the biggest electronic warfare battles that maybe the biggest one ever in history. It's a constant drone battle, missiles, rockets. Yes, the men were fighting on the ground, but all over the country, inside Russia even, except for that one stupid move when they moved a unit down into Russia. That was put down quick. But they hit all the way to Moscow. This was all electronic warfare. Who knows? There could have been some dude sitting in a bunker in Iowa who was helping direct Ukrainian assets into Russia. Do you find that out of the realm of possibility? I don't. Could be a CIA, could be whatever, but certainly on the ground somewhere. You got to be there. Somewhere they were using their technology to help the Ukrainians hit the Russians hard. We know Biden would have been for it. Absolutely, he wanted to win. He wanted to put Putin in his place. And remember, that was supposed to be that was supposed to be a quick war anyway. Russia was supposed to win this thing within 60 days, according to those so-called expert generals. So, 3 years plus of war. It's a lot to unpack. A lot to unpack. A lot of people will never have their homes again. They'll never be able to live there. It's now under Russian control. It's I don't know what they're going to put up between them. You would suspect that some kind of a wall would go up, probably a demilitarized zone of a few miles between the two. But we're not even there yet. I mean, we can't even get to work on that because the peace deal has not started. They feel like they're close, and then it falls apart, and we'll see what happens. But so, what's the short term, mid term, long term of how President Trump is viewed in this? Short term, right now, he's got the deal. He's the art of the deal. He's the deal maker. He's got the deal. We've signed. Success. That's a big one for him. I'm interested to see what the morning shows have to say about this deal. What do some of the old guard come up? Some of the same old names, the Bernie Sanders of the AOCs. What are they going to have to say about this deal? And then where do we go from here? What's the framework for that? Because we got to have some peace. We can't be trying to dig up minerals and missile strikes and drone strikes be happening in the country. So if you're going to work that deal, you got to have something. Yes, it's true, my friend, and that's what we're talking about. It hit last night. They have signed the deal. It is a huge deal, and we're kind of negotiating that and talking about it. Yeah, good morning to you too, Broski Bear. God bless you. Good morning, Taurus. Late last night on our show, our daily now, which is a late show, a late news show, a wrap-up show for the day, news-wise, the MAGA report. We actually found out before we went on air with that, but then we talked about it. I went after the show and watched looked at some of the news and videos and stuff of it. I mean, it hit fast. I know there's a time difference, and so things are happening over there at odd times for us, seemingly odd times, but it's just daytime things over there. So it is a big deal. It's a huge deal. And how quickly can we get to extraction? Well, we got to have peace, some kind of peace. Some kind of peace. So I would say there would be a major push right now for this to happen within a 30, 60-day time frame. But it's all the the macho stuff now. It's the compromising. It's the give and take. I'll give you these 5 towns. They're yours now, but we want these 2 towns over here. We will move our troops out of this area if you'll move your troops out of that area. It's that kind of thing. I like this. I would like to see every politician who wants to be handed a knife and fight his opposition leader with a knife as well. Putin versus Zelensky. That'd be interesting. BB versus Muhammad 1, Muhammad 2, Muhammad 3, 4, 5. And now in this corner, 5'6", 170. Well, he's probably got a little heavier. 185 pounds. From the motherland himself, Vladimir Putin. And in this corner, we have the little deputy in his military fight trunks. It'd be green. Standing 5'0", elbows out from the war-torn area of what's left of Ukraine. Zelensky, give it up. All right, gentlemen, we want a clean fight to the death. I think you're probably right. In this fight, if the reports are true, Zelensky would have the edge. One, he's younger. Two is, there's been all this talk for 2-3 years now that Putin is sick, that he's got terminal illness. There is a site out there on Telegram. You want to talk some conspiracy? There's a site out there on Telegram that supposedly has spies in the country. They claimed over 2 years ago that Putin died, and this guy's a stand-in, and that the other powerful people behind the scenes are running things, and this guy's just a lookalike. That's what they claim. I'll be glad to give you the channel if you'd like to see that. Trump would be the ref. He does look like that. He does. You know, that would be an interesting battle. Oh, I love it. That would be pretty cool. I have to say. Putin would come out in his red hammer and sickle, boxing shorts. Remember the Rocky one? They're over there in Russia fighting. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, that's true. No need for a ref. It's a knife fight to the death. Yeah, he's a pretty old guy, but I wouldn't tell him that. Hey, old man, never to be seen again. Putin is quite the conspiracy theorist himself. He is so afraid, according to reports, he is so afraid that communication is going to be found out. I heard some time ago, I read this, if reports are true, that he made his inner circle go back to pencil and paper. He don't trust computers. He's afraid of hacking. They already know they hack our stuff all the time, but that he was afraid something's going to slip out. So they have to communicate through various means of old-style communication with him, because he does not trust any of that, and/or spies. They do a little bit of a purge every once in a while over there, because he don't have much trust in a lot of the people around him. He thinks they're all susceptible to being working for the other side, and so he's kind of like that Howard Hughes kind of thing. He's just ultra paranoid, and everybody's his enemy. I mean, you can go read that stuff. I don't know if it's true or not, but I wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't that be something? I think. Of course, you probably can't trust their elections at all. It's Russia, but I think they have paper ballot elections. Oh, a lot harder to cheat on paperwork. Well, yeah, I mean, I had read that he did not want communications in his office, in his inner circle. He didn't want that stuff going on because he was afraid. Well, let's face it, American Mossad, other intelligence gatherers would crack that code and would know his every move. Brodsky Bear says, I've got my money on Putin all day, any day, against that little church burning pervert. There's no doubt he has the eye of the tiger look. Putin does. And Zelensky has that eye darting look, I mean, he just, we know what he has. He has tried to destroy religion, faith, and everything in the country. I can't stand the guy. I cannot stand the guy. And so I can see him dancing around, getting ready to go. And Putin just stares him down. And right about the time, Zelensky's coming in, kind of like he's doing a little shadow boxing. He's coming in at the most. I mean, he makes his swing with him with a knife. Putin just leans back, and he just guts the guy. Right, it's over. This would be like one of those 45-second fights to the death. And the only reason it's 40 seconds of that is Zelensky bouncing around the ring. You want to take me on? I got you. Come on, big boy. I've had enough of you. Dancing around. I'm younger than you. I'm quicker than you. And then the last 5 seconds is Putin is actually gutting the guy to death. I mean, that would be it right there. Celtic blacksmith. As far as Ukraine and Russia goes, I'm still crossing my fingers, hoping for a double knockout. One well-placed spy is enough to change the outcome of a conflict. Yes, that's true, and he fears that. He fears that. There's a lot of what ifs out of this. If it ends now or if it's 2 years from now. The children were one mystery. They don't even talk about it. That's one of mine. The other one is why. I still cannot get. You would think as dirty dealing, as dirty as this guy was, that his friend that was over the militia groups, that he gave tons of weapons to. I mean, that was a 50,000 man moving army. Why did he? One, he turned on Moscow to supposedly knock Putin out of the box. They stop before they get there and turn, which some believe that messages went out that if you don't stop, we'll kill every family member we can find of the people in your army. And that's what stopped them. Okay, I could see that. Like the army says, whoa, it's not just us now, guys. They're talking about killing all of our mamas, our aunts and uncles, grandma, all that stuff. Our children. Some of them might not care, but a lot of them did. That's what I heard. Well, then, but why would the idiot, once he's done that, he's still got this mighty army. He could have sold himself out to anybody. Why would he take the plane ride back into Russia? What kind of an idiot move was that? Everybody knew where that was going to go. It reminds me of when the two son-in-laws, you remember Saddam Hussein, two of his daughters, and the boys, they turned on him from outside the country, bad talked him. And Saddam Hussein, that godfather figure that he thought he was with the big cigar and all that. The guy that, shot his little pistol up in the air. Just the guy that just to torture people for fun, literal fun. Backload trucks up to the banks and unload billions in cash. Those guys knew him. But yet they believed him when he said, come on back. Your family. After all, you're married to my daughters. I won't hurt you. What idiot gets back on the plane and heads to Iraq to meet that guy? Well, if you don't know the end of that story, this is the way he deals with people like that. Of course, he killed them. Absolutely. Saddam Hussein would deal with his enemies like this if he got a hold of them. The first thing they would do is they would surround them with 50 or more of the biggest, baddest dudes that they had. And they would literally beat these men to death. To death. If they were alive still, matters not whether they were or not. Then he unleashed dogs on them that they had starved to the point of almost death. This is gross in the morning, but this is the type of people that we deal with in those regions. German shepherds, I think it was, and they would unleash these starving, mad dogs, which have been, I'm sure, made to just be killers. And they would go have lunch. They would be not even a stain left on the ground, they would say. And the whole time, Saddam Hussein would sit there in the chair smoking his cigar like he's the mafia don. That's the kind of crap you deal with. Why would you fly back into that crap? Yes, the mustachioed cancer of Iraq. Saddam Stalin Hussein, yes. And his boys. Oh, what a... Did he have two great sons? Uday and Qusay. First of all, get better names. I get it. It's a different culture, but it's still funny. You're going through the baby book. We all did it if we have kids, if you're married or if you had kids. You're trying to pick out names. You're trying out a few names for size. I'm amazed one of them wasn't Saddam Jr. Maybe they don't do that in that culture. I don't know. Saddam the second or something. I don't know. But they're going down the list of names. Muhammad's a big name. It's always a big name in those regions. Mustafa. I don't know. You go, and the wife comes up on Qusay. Hey, let's try that one on. That's a Qusay. Okay. and Uday. They met their end by the Marines. One of the greatest moments of life is they refused to come out of the building. Remember, the Marines had them cornered, and they just kept shooting at them, basically saying, "F you, we're not coming out." And the Marines said, "Okay, not a problem. Hey, everybody clear out." Uday and Kusei said they ain't coming out. They're fighting to the death. I think we could speed it up. And they just fired off a bazooka round or two inside there. Toast. It was one of the greatest days. They have Saddam's boys cornered in a house or an apartment. They're not coming out. They're fighting to the death. Well, the Marines have ended their life. Yep, them the ones, and one of them turned against Saddam's hard so bad I felt a little bad for him. Well, they did turn on him hard. I mean, they did. Their names sound like someone's hiding a message behind Bin Laden. That's true. I never thought about that. Oh, what a bunch of losers. I mean, what a piece of work these people were. And his last moment, his last 15 minutes of fame, rope around the neck as he's dropped to his death. And the liberals went, "Oh, don't do it. We're better than this." What? We killed people many times by execution in the field of battle. I loved it. I loved it. I love that they got video of him. I mean, they degraded the guy. I love walk around in his underwear. Not a great sight, but he was another Zelensky type, but bigger. He always wore his military garb. Very rarely did he wear a suit. It's a thing in that region. No, got to wear the military garb. Got to look tough. I'm the general. I'm the main general. Don't you know in the back of your mind? Don't you know somewhere back of his mind, because there was a lot of weird things going in the back of Biden's mind? Don't you think that Biden probably wanted to dress up like that? Don't you think he probably did? With a whole bunch of fake medals on his chest? Don't you think as Commander-in-Chief that Joe Biden didn't want to put on something like that? I think he probably did. I think he probably had a little fake outfit that he put on for Jill. Modeling it. Hey, baby, how do I look? I shot my medals up. I am the Commander-in-Chief. Doing some poses, Maybe with Hunter. Hunter's in his underwear. Biden's got his little military outfit on. Hey, check us out, babe. I got plenty of extra pockets for the stash. Well, you need a bump? Oh, here you go, bud. Should have drawn and quartered him like it was the Middle Ages. Yes. Since I kind of is the Middle Ages over there in Satan's sandbox. Yeah. It is kind of the middle. It is. And they never grow, never get ahead because it's just constant. Where's Saddam Hussein now? Didn't they dispose of him in a secret location, or did they? I don't remember. That's a good question. Well, are we talking spiritually? He's with his buddy Satan, but the body. What did they incinerate his body? I don't remember what they did with that. Somebody can look that up. That's interesting. But where's he at now? Oh, he's having it's the margarita thing. He's having margaritas with Satan. Him and his boys sitting around playing poker down in hell. As much death and destruction as Saddam Hussein caused, he gets to sit at the big murders table. They have a poker game. All the major murders. I mean, Hitler's at the table. All these different leaders. Satan is his daddy. Didn't Muammar Gaddafi have a thing for he did. Yes, the fancy military, he did. You're right, Gaddafi did. He did. Yes, Satan. With a little s. Yeah. It's been a thing for over in Africa. A lot of your uh, militia, coup. The coup, or the army. There's always the coup, and whoever takes over the country next, they always have on this really fancy military outfit. I mean, it's slick. I mean, they got the fancy hat. They've got the outfit with they wear sunglasses. All kind of fake medals on the front of that thing. I mean, it's trimmed out. It's got some real red parts to it. I mean, you could almost go dancing in it. I mean, some of them look a little sad. I mean, they really get down with it. They got the old presidential motorcade as they roll through, and they're good until the next coup, and they end up dying or get forced death. And then the next guy steps up and says, "Oh, let me up this," and everybody's got to have their own plane. If you're going to be a dictator and be killing your people and torturing them, and you're going to have a big plane so you can fly over and look at the carnage that you're causing. I'm really surprised that I'm going to be careful with my words here. That freak, I'm just going to say it like that. That freak over in North Korea, he don't know how to dress right. I mean, I know he's fat. And he has to kind of try to hide it. So where's the black? But his outfits look really bad. Like, maybe we need to give him some style points. I mean, there's a lot of the other dictators around the world. I mean, you got to think at the dictators' parties, Christmas party, you got to think that somebody's going to the side and saying, "Hey, man, what's up with the outfit? Like, dude, it's just like black nothing. I mean, you look like a black hole. I mean, you got to style up, brother. I mean, come on." We didn't get to see Saddam's body. They threw him in the ocean, supposedly, not to disgrace them people. Hogwash. Yeah, I'd like to know what happened to that. I'd just like to know. I guess when you control the military, you can make yourself whatever you want. I used to be the only person in the department of a mattress factory. Called myself the head manager of Box Spring. Truth, straight out of Ohio this morning. You can call yourself what you want to call yourself. In the raid on Entebbe, Idi Amin or whatever his name was, that's how they got them. That's how they got in. They mimicked his military plane, landing, the motorcade, the car, all impersonated by the commandos. They'd practiced for weeks for sure, but I think a few months, and only one death. Bibi Netanyahu's brother, Jonathan, I think was his name. He was a lucky shot. I swear it was, because they didn't get a scratch on nobody else. But he was in the lead, and one shot went off. I think he got either headshot or neck shot or something like that, and was taken out. But yeah, that's how the people thought it was really them, because the big, almost parade-like presence as he come in. It fooled them. Their own people. I wonder, not to be crass, you reckon Sodom ever went to Epstein's Island way back in the day when they were friends? I mean, there was a time when Saddam Hussein was friends with America, really was. Remember, we were backing him in the war with Iran because we were against Iran. And Saddam we thought was our friend. We gifted him all kinds of stuff. And then he turns on us. Well, he turned on to Kuwait. I don't know if you ever remember the story. Kuwait's under attack. Oil fields are being set on fire. They were caught literally with their pants down when they rolled in. And their Air Force got decimated. But there was one pilot who got up in the air. And if this guy could have got refueled in the air, I think he would have single-handedly defeated Iraq. This guy shot down all their planes. He was strafing those military convoy. You remember the video? I mean, just vehicle after vehicle was torched with dead bodies on fire down the road to Iraq, to Baghdad. I think it's called the Baghdad Highway. And he strafed them. I mean, just lit them up. Saddam Hussein is just anger is beyond control, and you got to get this guy. And the only thing that stopped him is he ran out of fuel and he dumped. And they eventually got him. They had him, a British pilot, I think, and maybe even an American. And if you read the Air Force General's book, who was trying not to, it's an interesting book. I need to find my copy. Anyway, Qusay and Uday, they wanted to kill all those pilots, but I don't think they were ever able to. They held them off, said it was Geneva Convention. They would lose, the world would turn against them. But that guy was talk about a jet pilot hero. Instead of a jukebox hero, jet pilot hero. This dude tore him up. I need to get his name. I need to look him up. He deserves to be a breadhead. Wow, that guy just, ripped it. Saddam just got a little too big for his breeches. Well, that's true. Nobody was going to bother him. He had, at one time, one of the largest armies in the world. He had more tanks than just about anybody in the world. He had not versus America, but versus most countries, he was intimidating. Nobody's going to mess with him. Nobody. I do love, when you saw, though, we stormed in there, Schwarzkopf, they had like a three-pronged attack. And the reason those Iraqi soldiers were given up by the droves was because they couldn't even see on their radar where we were at, and we were destroying them from a distance. They couldn't even see it coming. They couldn't pick it up. And they were radioing back, and the commanders were telling Saddam, we can't see them. We can't win. And so the soldiers, you're seeing tank after tank after tank just get incinerated and blown to bits. And you don't even have on your target, you don't have a target to fire at. Those guys said, heck with this. And that was jumping out, shirts off, hands in the air. They knew the drill from school shootings, apparently, because they were hands up as they walked across the desert saying, don't kill, don't kill. I surrender. They got lit up. That was one of the greatest military victories ever, back when we really did try to win stuff. But we stopped them short. We left them in power. It was a victory over that army at that time, but we didn't win, though. We had to go back again. Yeah, you got that right. You got that right. Bunch of freaks, man. But they said that Saddam Hussein, he loved The Godfather. He saw himself as a Godfather. And that he watched all those movies, but he had watched The Godfather 1. That he had watched that movie more than 100 times, all the way through. He'd start and watch the whole thing all the way through. He watched it every week. This guy loved that movie. That's who he thought he was. He thought he was Vito Corleone. That's who he thought he was. He loved that. He was ate up with it. In fact, his outfit, his civilian look, it looked like Chicago's, kind of mafia don kind of look. If you remember back, I didn't pull up some of those pictures. That's the way he dressed. He loved American movies. He loved a lot of things about America. He really did. And the shame of it is Iraq, Baghdad could be a crowning jewel for the region. It had been for a millennia, a place where the finest silks and things were traded and made and sold. It was an economic center. It was a tourist center. It could be a great oasis in the desert for just. I could see it. It's like Havana. That these dictators just ruin it. Kids can't have a good destination spot. They just ruin it. Imagine how many would go there if they open it up. A little stroll down the Nile. Or what? Maybe it's not the Nile. What am I thinking of? But anyway, they'd ruined it. And Iraq is still, you don't hear as much out of, but it's still not good. Putin's long-term plan for the outcome of the Ukrainian invasion wasn't thought through very well. That does seem to be accurate. I don't think he's thought of the end right, so he doesn't know where to end it. He accomplished a lot of his goals early on. His goals. I think his military would love to say, let's cash this in. Let's cash our chips in. This hand is over. But what does he want? I mean, you got those people that are saying he wants to roll through all of Europe. Uh, Maybe there's a part of him that does. But it's not feasible. I'm sure that at one point he wanted all of Ukraine. He wanted to. He definitely had to want. Excuse me. He had to want Zelensky to be gone. They wanted to kill him. I mean, he still has the Chechnyan kill groups out there. That's their job, is to kill Zelensky. They've never been called off. They're still out there roaming around. But one thing about that group, this is what gets me. If you're going to be that kind of group, shave your beard. They all have the same look. And I realize it'd be like putting a dress on a pig. They can't change that hard face look they got. But at least change the beard and try to look like a little something. I mean, these guys are noticed when they're in the street, like, we've got some killers down on the street. I mean, look out there. These guys date from here, you know. And they don't care. It's like a suicide mission. They take a bunch of money. Yeah, we'll kill him. We won't stop until we get him. So he's going to have long-term security. But you're right. I don't think that, because it doesn't. He never really gives an idea of it. People say, Putin, what does he want? I get to see him in the back room going, what do I want? Where do we stop with this? He does not want to come out of this looking weak. He can't handle that. He cannot handle that. His ego would not let him do that. It'll have to be some way where it looks like it's his idea. I don't think he'll let Trump get the victory dance on that at first. He'll want something where he has a parade or something on Ukrainian soil. Wait and see if this don't happen. He will be there. They'll have a big review of all the troops. They will declare victory. They will, have the flags flying. They'll have speeches. He'll give a speech from, Mariupol or somewhere on the big dais. He'll have all these military generals sitting there. He will tell his people, we defeated Ukraine. We've stopped them, their advances on the motherland. He will even throw America under the bus a little bit. He'll badmouth Biden. Everybody does, and he'll slap at Trump a little bit. He'll claim the victory, and then behind the scenes they'll work the deal. There's no way that guy just backs off. That's not going to happen. Biden was like, we're going to put him in his place. You were never going to do that, dude. Shut up. You were never going to do that. It was not even believable that you were going to do that. Well, we need to get off here. I was a little late coming in, so I went over a little bit. Well, I was late getting in, Steve. I was recording late. I didn't sleep good. I woke up about 4:30, and I thought, I'm good. And then about 5:45, I woke up again. I didn't remember falling asleep. And I always do that. I'll have this good power sleep, but right before I get up for the show. But I didn't hear my alarm go off. So I was a little late coming in, about 15 after. So I decided to go a little bit over. So I am over. We will see you tonight for the Cornbread Nation show, for sure. We will see you at 10 for the MAGA Report, our nightly news program. I don't know if we can get the Jeb and Bubba show in tonight. It may be tomorrow night. It's going to happen, though. But yeah, we will see you tonight. I know, excuses. Excuses. Well, when you Baptists, are the best at making excuses of why they couldn't come to church. So you learn this from an early age. Baptists have a lot of reasons why they can't come to church. And you have to have a bunch of different ones because you can't use the same ones. So you have to make excuses up to tell the pastor why you couldn't make it. Preacher, we really wanted to be there, but uh, one of the kids was sick. Oh, so everybody had to stay home? They hate that when you respond like that. Oh well, and you get like that. Or, well, it was cold, and I think I saw little raindrops, and we kind of thought there might be some icy spots, and we decided it would be better to stay at home. I'm sorry, you don't want us having a wreck, do you? That's one of them. Or the classic, I overslept. You know, we just overslept. Time we woke up, we would have had to rush to even get here on time. You could have, we'd have been late. That's a big one. We would have been late. You can't come in late? Oh, well, no, we wouldn't want to interrupt the service like that. No, no. If I can't be here on time, preacher, I ain't coming. I got a ton of them. They scheduled, my family, they scheduled a birthday party right during church. What do you do? I mean, you got to go. That's your nephew. So we was at the birthday party. And one of the kids goes, that was at 2 o'clock, Dad. The death stare. Don't. We went out and ate. We went to the buffet, remember? That's one of those. That would be Steve to his dad. Hey, no. That birthday party was at 2 o'clock, Dad. Yeah, we went and had the big buffet, remember? Yeah. You should have invited the preacher. Kids will get you in trouble. My ex's cousin, her husband used the excuse, we had to get gas whenever they snuck in a little afternoon before going to a family function. You know what, dude? You got me off guard. I wasn't expecting the last part of that. Yes, I would. I would. Oh, Canada. We'll even play their song. Yes, we can do that. Would you like to be a part, Broski Bear? Would you like to come on the stage? And we'll talk about Canada. We adopted the code and would ask before we left for an event, hey, want to go get had first? I think my face is turning red. Steve never fails to deliver. Hey, I love you guys. This has been great this morning. I'm going to go to work. I got a lot of work to do. That funeral's put me behind, but you can do those things. I got a lot of work to get done today, and we'll see you this evening. Lord willing, if we survive the day. We're going to survive the day. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you. We'll see you tonight if you're able to come around. What's that old Petty song? Come around no more, or whatever it's called. Oh, my brain is not working. It was a hard day yesterday. I'm mentally and physically tired, but I'm having a great time. It's really good. The podcast is a lot of therapy, and I really like being here. I appreciate all of y'all. Y'all have a great day. Take care.
Oh, well, it's early in
That's
the
the wrong
morning.
song. It's too slow for me this morning. This is the song. Yeah.